Start reading, or not.
Hello, welcome to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Hi, my name is Akash, and Hi, my name is Akash, and
If you are able to hear your own voice, then you have configured Skype correctly. If you hear this message, but not your own voice, then something is wrong with your audio recording settings. Please check your microphone and mic. Hello, welcome to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Hi, my name is Akash, and I'm eager to live a better life. Hi, my name is Akash, and I'm eager to live a better life.
If you are able to hear your own voice, then you have configured Skype correctly. If you
Perfect. Now I can hear myself. Thank you. How to stick with the good habits every day. In 1993, a bank in Abbotsford, Canada, had a 23-year-old stockbroker named Trent Smith. Abbotsford was a relatively small suburb tucked away in the shadow of nearby Vancouver. Most of the business deals were made in these banks. Given the location and the fact that the Dersmed was a rookie and nobody expected too much of him, however, he made a brisk progress thanks to the simple daily habits. Dersmed began each morning with two jars in his desks. One was filled with 120 paper clips, the other was empty. As soon as he settled in each day, he would make a sales call. Immediately after, he would move one paper clip from the full jar to the empty jar, and the process would begin again. Every morning, I would start with 120 paper clips in one jar, and I would keep dialing the phone until I had moved them all to the second jar, he told me. Within 8 months, Smith was bringing 5 million to the firm. By age 24, he was making 75k per year, the equivalent of 125k today. Not long after, he landed a six-figure job with another company. I like to refer to this technique as a paperclip strategy, and over the year, I've heard from the readers who have employed it in a variety of ways. One woman shifted a hairpin from one container to another whenever she wrote a page of her book. Another man moved a marble from one bin to the next after each set of push-ups. Making progress is satisfying, and visual measures like moving paperclips or hairpins or marbles provides a clear evidence of your progress. As a result, they reinforces your behavior and add a little bit of immediate satisfaction to any activity. Visual measurements comes in many forms: food journals, workout logs, loyalty punch cards, the progress card on a software download, even the page number in the book. Perhaps the best way to measure your progress is with a habit tracker. How to keep your habits on track. A habit tracker is a simple way to measure whether you did a habit. The most basic format is to get a calendar and cross off each day you stick with your routine. For example, when you meditate on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, each of these dates gets an X. As time rolls by, the calendar becomes a record of a habit streak. Countless people have tracked their habits. However, the most famous was the Benjamin Franklin. Beginning at age 20, Franklin carried a small booklet everywhere he went and used it to track 13 personal virtues. This list included lose no time, be always employed in something useful, and avoid trifling conversation. At the end of each day, Franklin would open his booklet and record his progress. Jerry Seinfeld reportedly uses a habit tracker to stick with his streak of writing jokes. In the documentary Comedian, he explained that his goal is simply to never break the chain of writing jokes every day. In other words, he is not focused on how good or bad a particular joke or how inspired he feels. He is simply focused on showing up and adding his to his streak. Don't break the chain in a powerful mantra is the powerful mantra. Don't break the chain of sales calls and you'll build a successful book of business. Don't break the chain of workouts and you'll get fit faster than you would expect. Don't break the chain of creating every day and you will end up with an impressive portfolio. Habit tracking is a powerful because it leverages multiple laws of behavior change. It simultaneously makes a behavior obvious, attractive, and satisfying. Let's break down each one. Benefit number one, habit tracking is obvious. Recording your last location action creates a trigger that can initiate your next one. Habit tracking naturally builds series of visual cues like the streak of X's on your calendar or the list of meals in your food log. When you look at the calendar and see your streak, you will be reminded to act again. Research has shown that the people who track their progress on goals like losing weight, quitting smoking, and lowering blood pressure are more likely to improve than those who don't. One study of more than 1,600 people found that these who kept the daily food logs lost twice as much weight as those who did not. The mere act of tracking a behavior can spark the urge to change it. Habit tracking also keeps you honest. Most of us have a distorted view of our own behavior. We think we act better than we do. Measurement offers one way to overcome our blindness to our own behavior and notice what's really going on each day. One glance at the paper clips in the container and you will immediately know how much work you have or haven't been putting in. When the evidence is right in front of you, you are less likely to lie to yourself. Benefit number two, habit tracking is attractive. The most effective form of motivation is progress. When we get a signal that we are moving forward, we become more motivated to continue down the path. In this way, habit tracking can have an addictive effect on motivation. Each small win feeds your desire. This can be particularly powerful on a bad day. When you're feeling down, it's easy to forget about all the progress you've already made. Habit tracking provides a visual proof of your hard work, a subtle reminder of how far you have come. Plus, the empty square you see each morning can motivate you to get started because you don't want to lose your progress by breaking the streak. Benefit number three, habit tracking is satisfying. This is the most crucial benefit of all. Tracking can become its own form of reward. It is satisfying to cross an item of your to do list, to complete an entry in your workout log, or to mark an X on the calendar. It feels good to watch your results grow. The size of your investment portfolio, the length of your book's manuscript, or it feels good, then you're more likely to endure. Habit tracking also keeps your eye on the ball. You're focused on the process rather than the result. You're not fixated on getting six pack abs. You're just trying to keep the streak alive and become the type of person who does not miss the workouts. In summary, habit tracking first creates a visual cue that can remind you to act. Second is inherently motivating because you see the progress you are making and don't want to lose it. And number three, it feels satisfying whenever you record another successful instance of your habit. Furthermore, habit tracking provides a visual proof that you are casting votes for the type of person you wish to become, which is a delightful form of immediate and intrinsic gratification. You may be wondering, when habit tracking is so useful, why have I waited so long to talk about it? Despite all the benefits, I've left this discussion until now for a simple reason. Many people resist the idea of tracking and measuring. It can feel like a burden because it forces you into two habits, the habit of trying to build, the habit of tracking it. Counting calories sounds like a hassle when you're already struggling to follow a diet. Writing down every sales call seems tedious when you have got work to do. It feels easier to say, I'll just eat less, or I will try harder, or I will remember to do it. People inevitably tell me things like, I have a decision journal, however, I wish I used it more. I recorded my workouts for a week, then I quit. I have been there myself. I once made a food log to track my calories. I managed to do it for one meal and then I gave up. Tracking isn't for everyone, and there is no need to measure your entire life. And nearly anyone can benefit from it in some form, even when it is temporary. What can we do to make tracking easier? First, whenever possible, measurement should be automated. You will probably be surprised how much you're already tracking without knowing it. Your credit card statement tracks how often you go out to eat. Your Fitbit registers how many steps you take and how long you sleep. Your calendar records how many new places you travel to each year. Once you know where to get the data, add the note to your calendar to review it each week or month, which is more practical than tracking it every day. Second, manual tracking should be limited to your most important habit. It is better to consistently track on the habit than to sporadically track 10. Finally, record each measurement immediately after the habit occurs. The completion of the behavior is the cue to write it down. This approach allows you to combine the habit stacking method mentioned in chapter 5 with the habit tracking. The formula is the habit stacking plus the habit tracking formula equals to after current habit, I will track my habit. After I hang up the phone from the sales call, I will move one more paper clip over. After I finished each set of a gym, I'll record it in my workout journal. After I put my plate into the dishwasher, I will write down what I ate. These tactics can make tracking your habits easier. Even when you aren't the type of person who enjoys recording your behavior, I think you will find a few weeks of measurements to be insightful. It's always interesting to see how you have actually been spending your time. That said, every habit streak ends at some point, and more important than any single measurement is having a good plan when your habits slide off track. How to recover quickly when your habits break down. No matter how consistent you are with your habits, it is inevitable that life will interrupt you at some point. Perfection is not possible. Before long, an emergency will pop up. You get sick, or you have to travel for work, or your family needs a little more of your time. Whenever this happens, I try to remind myself a simple rule never miss twice. When I miss one day, I try to get back into as quickly as possible. Missing one workout happens. However, I'm not going to miss two in a row. Maybe I'll eat an entire pizza. However, I'll follow it up with a healthy meal. I can't be perfect. However, I can avoid a second lapse. As soon as one streak ends, I get started on the next one. The first mistake is never the one that ruins you. It's the spiral of the repeated mistake that follows. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice starts off a new habit. This is distinguishing feature between winners and losers. Anyone can have a bad performance, a bad workout, or a bad day at work. However, when successful people fail, they rebound quickly. The breaking of a habit does not matter if the reclaiming of it is fast. I think this principle is so important that I'll stick to it even when I can't do a habit as well or as completely as I would like. Too often we fall into a all or nothing cycle with our habits. The challenge is not slipping up. The challenge is thinking that you can do something perfectly. Then you shouldn't do it at all. You don't realize how valuable it is just to show up on your bad days. Lost days hurt you more than successful days help you. When you start with $100, then a 50% gain will take you to 150. However, you only need a 33% loss to take you back to $100. In other words, avoiding a 33% loss is just as valuable as achieving a 50% gain. As Charlie Munger says, the first rule of compounding is never interrupt it unnecessarily. This is why the bad workouts are often the most important ones. Sluggish days and bad workouts maintain the compound gains you accrued from the previous good days. Simply doing something, 10 squat, 5 sprints or push-ups, anything really is huge. Don't put up a zero. Don't let losses eat your compounding. Furthermore, it's not always about what happens during the workout. It's about being the type of person who does not meet the workout. It's easy to train when you feel good. However, it's crucial to show up when you don't feel like it, even when you do less than you hope. Going to the gym for 5 minutes may not improve your performance. However, it reaffirms your identity. The all or nothing cycle of behavior change is just one pitfall that can derail your habits. Another potential danger, especially when you are using a habit tracker, is measuring the wrong thing. Knowing when and when not to track a habit.
I can start from here.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, Akash. Knowing when and when not to track a habit. Say you are running a restaurant and you want to know if your chef is doing a good job. One way to measure success is to track how many customer pays for a meal each day. If more customer come in, the food must be good. If fewer customers come in, something must be wrong. However, this one measurement, daily revenue, only gives a limited picture of what's really going on. Just because someone pays for a meal does not mean they enjoy the meal. Even dissatisfied customers are unlikely to dine and dash. In fact, if you are only measuring revenue, the food might be getting worse, but you are making up for it with marketing or discount or some other method. Instead, it may be more effective to track down how many customers finish their meal or perhaps the percentage of customers who leave a generous tip. The dark side of tracking a particular behavior is that we become driven by the number rather than the purpose behind it. If your success is measured by quarterly earnings, you will optimize sales, revenue, and accounting for quarterly earnings. If your success is measured by lower number of scale, you will optimize for a lower number on the scale. Even if that means embracing crash diets, choose cleanses, and fat loss pills. The human mind wants to win whatever game is being played. This pitfall is evident in many areas of life. We focus on working long hours instead of getting meaningful work done. We care more about getting 10,000 steps than we do about being healthy. We teach for standardized tests instead of emphasizing learning, curiosity, and critical thinking. In short, we optimize for what we measure. When we choose the wrong measurement, we get the wrong behavior. This is sometimes referred to as Goodhart's law, named after economist Charles Goodhart. The principle states when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Measurement is only useful when it guides you and adds context to a larger picture, not when it consumes you. Each number is simply one piece of feedback in the overall system. In our data driven world, we tend to overvalue numbers and undervalue anything ephemeral, soft, and difficult to quantify. We mistakenly think the factors we can measure are the only factors that exist. But just because you can measure something does not mean it is the most important thing. And just because you can't measure something does not mean it is not important at all. All of this to say, it's crucial to keep habit tracking in its proper place. It can feel satisfying to record a habit and track your progress, but the measurement is not the only thing that matters. Furthermore, there are many ways to measure progress, and sometimes it helps to shift your focus to something entirely different. This is why non scale victories can be effective for weight loss. The number on the scale may be stubborn, but if you focus solely on that number, your motivation will sag. But you may notice that your skin looks better or wake up even earlier on your sex drive got a boost. All of these are valid ways to track your improvement. If you are not feeling motivated by the number on the scale, perhaps it's time to focus on the different measurement, one that gives you more signals of progress. No matter how you measure, your improvement. Habit tracking offers a simple way to make your habits more satisfying. Each measurement provides a little bit of evidence that you are moving in the right direction and a brief moment of immediate pleasure for the job well done. Chapter summary. One of the most satisfying feelings is the feeling of making progress. A habit tracker is a simple way to measure whether you did a habit, like marking an X on a calendar. Habit tracker and other visual forms of measurement can make your habit satisfying by providing clear evidence on your progress. Don't break the chain. Try to keep your habit streak alive. Never miss twice. If you miss one day, try to get back on track as quickly as possible. Just because you can measure something does not mean it is the most important thing. Chapter 17. How an accountability partner can change everything. After serving as a pilot in World War II, Roger Fisher attended an attended Harvard Law School and spent 34 years specializing in negotiation and conflict management. He founded the Harvard Negotiation Project and worked with numerous countries and world leaders on peace resolutions, hostage crisis, and diplomatic compromises. But it was in the 1970s and 1980s, as the threat of nuclear war escalated, that Fisher developed perhaps his most interesting idea. At the time, Fisher was focused on designing strategies that could prevent nuclear war, and he had noticed a troubling fact. Any sitting president would have access to launch codes that could kill millions of people, but would never actually see anyone die because he would always be thousands of miles away. My suggestion was quite simple, he wrote in 1981. Put that nuclear code number in a little capsule and then implant that capsule right next to the heart of a volunteer. The volunteer would carry with him a big, heavy butcher knife as he accompanied the president. If ever the president wanted to fire nuclear weapons, the only way he could do so would be for him first with his own hands to kill one human being. The president says, George, I'm sorry, but tens of millions must die. He has to look at someone and realize what death is, what an innocent death is. Blood on the White House carpet. It's a reality brought home. When I suggested this to friends in the Pentagon, they said, My God, that's terrible. Having to kill someone would distort the president's judgment. He might never push the button. Throughout our discussion on the fourth law of the behavior change, we have covered the importance of making good habits immediately satisfying. Fisher's proposal is an inversion of the fourth law. Make it immediately unsatisfying. Just as we are more likely to repeat an experience when the ending is satisfying, we are also more likely to avoid experience when the ending is painful. Pain is effective teacher. If a failure is painful, it gets fixed. If a failure is relatively painless, it gets ignored. The more immediately and more costly a mistake is, the faster you will learn from it. The threat of a bad review forces a plumber to be good at his job. The possibility of a customer never returning makes restaurant create good food. The cost of cutting the wrong blood vessels make a surgeon master human anatomy and cut carefully. When the consequences are severe, people learn quickly. Now I would like to stop and pass. Thank you.
Thanks, Amrish. So we can read this page, and then after that I'll conclude the session. Would anybody else would like to take it forward? All right, I'll continue the reading. Just as we are more likely to repeat an experience when the ending is satisfying, we are also more likely to avoid an experience when the ending is painful. Pain is an effective teacher. When a failure is painful, it gets fixed. When a failure is relatively painless, it gets ignored. The more immediate and more costly a mistake is, the faster you will learn from it. The threat of a bad review forces a plumber to do a good job. The possibility of a customer never returning makes restaurant create a good food. The cost of cutting the wrong blood vessels makes a surgeon master human anatomy and cut carefully. When the consequences are severe, the people learn quickly. The more immediate the pain, the less likely the behavior. When you want to prevent bad habits and eliminate unhealthy behaviors, then adding an instant cost to the action is a great way to reduce the odds. We repeat bad habits, they serve us in some way, and that makes them hard to abandon. The best way I know to overcome this predicament is to increase the spread of a punishment associated with this behavior. There cannot be a gap between action and the consequences. As soon as the action incur an immediate consequence, behavior begin to change. Customers pay their bill on time when they are charged a late fee. Students show up to the class when the grade is linked to the attendance. We will jump through a lot of hoops to avoid a little bit of immediate pain. There is, of course, a limit to this. When you're going to rely on punishment to change a behavior, then the strength of the punishment must match the relatively strength of the behavior it is trying to correct. To be productive, the cost of procrastination must be greater than the cost of action. To be healthy, the cost of laziness must be greater than the cost of exercise. Getting fined for smoking in a restaurant or failing to recycle adds consequences to an action. Behavior only shifts when the punishment is painful enough and reliably enforced. With that note, I would really thank you all for coming, listening, and reading. That was a very interesting read, and I'm very happy that I read it with you people. I'm gonna open the floor for the shares.
Thanks, Akash. Yep, today was very interesting read about making progress, how compounding works. You need to have l- progress, even if it is small one, but you need to make sure there is some progress. That creates a streak. If I have experienced whenever the streak is breaks, whenever streak breaks, you feel like not going back to the streak. And the author suggests the other thing that you should get back ASAP. Whenever you get time, you should get back to your streak and continue your streak. Like the Charlie Munger beautifully explains that you should have faith in the compounding and you should make progress even if it is a small one. It can give you huge returns when you from the look back into the past. You will see it if you keep it doing on a daily basis. Yep. So yep, a lot of learning and a lot of thoughts about it. Thanks. That is it from my side.
Thanks, Amrish. Hi, my name is Akash and I'm eager to live a better life. I am super duper excited. I'm really excited. You know what? There is some sort of serendipity feeling whenever I wake up early in the mornings. I'm so happy that I'm doing this personal development. It's more than a personal development. It's spiritual development. It's mental development. It's physical development. Everything that I'm going through, this is a transformation process. I will relatively not doing well with my health from last couple of days. There is some pain um, in my eyes and ears, and that's putting a lot of strain. However, you know what? To do these sessions, I'll come up even I'm dead. Yeah, this kind of a conviction that I get when I because these sessions are so satisfying, so satisfying. It's like a four-course meal to me. It's so beautiful. I cannot fathom that these corona times would become a blessing to me. Yeah, and you know, just coming to these sessions, I started getting more clarity of the kind of a person who I am, and what are my fears, what are my anxiety, what are things I don't like, because I started reflecting more these texts and the kind of a thing I've always tried to do. I was completely trying to do it alone by myself, and I've seen that doing it alone with trying to overcome certain behavior challenges alone is very tedious. Whenever I am with somebody and I ask for help, the help arrives. I've seen it. I've seen it multiple times, and this is such a beauty that today I know that I don't have to suffer for anything. And today I can tell you, um, I have been using nicotine for last 10 years. Nicotine, yes, tobacco. And by the grace of God, I'm sober from nicotine from last 3 months. This could have never happened until I got onto my knees and I said to God that I cannot do it alone. And He helped me. He sent some answers. He sent somebody to help me, and I worked with that person to completely remove this out of my life. And I can say so beautifully that I haven't had any toxic substance in my body today. You know how fulfilling it is, because earlier it was hurting me in such a small ways that I would not notice, and after 10 years of usage I was starting to see the symptoms of using it. Yeah, it was decreasing my productivity 1% every day. By God, today not. I'll not let anything hurt me. Yeah, why I'm saying that, because I have developed a kind of a belief that I didn't have before. Today, I'm so happy, so happy. On this 25th of August, September, I completed 3 months, and you know how fulfilling it is. And you know what? This I've been trying to do it since 8 years, 9 years. No, I couldn't do it alone. I needed help. And I see these corona times sometimes get the best out of a person or worst out of a person. And I think by the grace of God, it got the best out of me. And when I emptied up that bad habit, you know, because I started focusing more on personal development, and I it came to realize that first, in order for me to add a new habit, I need to start removing those things that are draining from my life. In For example, there could be wrong people in my life, there could be wrong substance in my life, there could be wrong conditions or wrong things in the past or childhood. I have to work it. When a God sent me with a challenge, He always wraps it up with an opportunity. Bigger the challenge, bigger the opportunity. And when the nicotine and tobacco left me, it filled with all the goodness, all the things that I wanted to do from the childhood. And And this is slowly happening. It's like the promises that this book talks about. Everything is coming to fruition. Yeah, God is manifesting Himself through you people. You people completely changed my life, and I'm really grateful today that I can come here today, early morning, not doing well with my health. Still, I'm so contented because my body is sick, not my mind. I'm so grateful. Yeah, and I can say today that I do not choose to be a common man. I don't want to live inside the box, think inside the box, and die inside the box. It's my heritage. It's my right to die with my head held high and with a smile on my face. Like I've written my own eulogy, written my own obituary, and I live each day as per my obituary. And I'm really glad that I could do all these things after I've removed all the noise out of my character and my personality. And I started working not hacking by leaves, however, by nurturing my roots. This is how things happening, and it was a very slow process. It's a very slow process. These days people want a quick 2 minutes noodles or 2 minutes Maggie kind of a transformation. These hacks won't work, or everything works from the root level. And I'm so grateful that I've come to believe that I'm such so happy, so happy, so happy. So thank you. I just I'm so happy that I could share this thing with you, because I I considered this as top of my bucket list item. I have my own bucket list, and I suggest you all create your bucket list. I have 100 things to do before I die. I first was to remove alcohol out of my life completely. Thank God. I don't do any of these things from last 2 years. I'm so happy. Now I can look at the forward things of doing things I really want, because I could not drag this baggage of bad habits and start focusing on things I want to do. I'm free now. I completely feel free now. And I choose not to be a common man. I'm not going to die painful death. I am going to die with my head held high, and I'm happy today that I can share it with you that I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon when I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humble and dull by having to state, look after me. I want to take calculated risks, to read and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentives for a dole. I prefer the challenges of the life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the state calm of utopia. I will not trade my freedom for the beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud, and unafraid, to think and to act for myself, to enjoy the benefits of my creation, and to face the world boldly and say, this, with the God's help, with your help, what I have done, and all this is what it meant to be a human being. Thank you, and I'll pass. Would anybody like to share again? Cheers. Thank you all for sharing. The next Friday, 700 hours Indian Standard Time and 3:30 hours European Standard Time and 18:30 hours California time. I'm gonna keep a meeting room a little longer after the meeting conclusion for any questions or any doubts or any feedbacks. We always encourage feedback uh, so that we can improve on a daily basis. So I pasted the favorite prayers of our fellowship in the chat bar. Would anybody like to lead us out of the meeting?
Sure, I will do that.
Thanks, Amrish.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change,
Courage. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change,
the courage to change the things I can,
the courage to change the things I can,
and the wisdom to know the difference.
and the wisdom to know the difference.
Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time.
Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time.
Perfect.
Thank you, Amrish, and everybody who's come and everybody who has not come. I'm really happy, and that concludes our session for today.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, just a reminder, we also have a service positions open for the chairs. So a chairperson is somebody who leads the meeting or hosts the meeting. We have a set script. The link is here, and yeah, you just have to start the call. So it's very simple. And doing a service, it's a very good way on working on the personality and the personal development. So, right. Is there any questions or anything you want to ask? Amrish, Naomi, or something?
On Friday, I can take the chairpersonship.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Right. So meet you on Friday, next session. Yeah.
Yeah.
And right. And like I said, you can listen to your voice. It's so amazing, Amrish. I I listened to on YouTube. I said I was comparing. I said your voice is so serene when you read it. I
Thank you.
was so happy that I reviewed the session. I listened to my own sharings and I was kind of impressed of myself. Wow.
Yeah.
And listen to yours again. So I listened to that twice, and it was like um, I'm I'm developing my own self-empowering muscles. Where I don't have to listen to anybody to empower myself. I can listen to my own reading, yeah. And when I
Yeah.
read it, when I'm traveling, I just turn it on, and it's really good, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks, appreciate it, Amrish. Really glad that you come, and congratulations. I
Thank
hope you are being the night disc jockey.
Trying to sync things up.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. Yeah, being a father is a very good motivation, and that's also I'm on the same boat as you are. So really happy for you. See you on Friday.
Yeah.
And there
Perfect.
is one other meeting on better finances
Mhm.
tomorrow. I hope you're aware.
Yeah.
All right, then. All right. Until then, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have
Thanks.
a blissful day. Bye.
Bye.